set that punch up. We spoke about that the right hand will come across at some stage. He certainly did. I think Dinu just sort of relaxed, didn't he, as he went over to those ropes, and did a bit of injection of pace from Dubois, and he hits the target, cracking punch, beats him a shot. And Dinu, he couldn't get up, so, you know, we know he's got power, we know he's got a powerful jab, we know he's got a powerful right hand. We thought that Dinu, you know, had a fair first round, but he lost it. But that second round there, Daniel Dubois has just upped the pace and he's landed that big shot. He landed shots like that on Joe Joyce. Joe Joyce could take them. Big Bogdan simply couldn't. It landed pretty flush, down he went. Daniel Dubois will move on to, he will hope, bigger things. Yeah, let's look again. He's absolutely delighted, isn't he? So here we are, look, just drifts onto the ropes and then just lets his hands, especially
Joe Joyce, to come out and do that. Let's try again with you, Carl, to come out and do that. It was a very good performance. I had said it was a brave fight to take after the Joe Joyce fight. I wasn't sure what was going to happen. I hoped for a win for Daniel Dubois, and it was a good performance. He went and blew away a good opponent in 2 rounds. And I think what was most impressive was how he started, and how he started on the front foot. He wasn't really tentative or anything. He was game and he was brave. And the shot that finished him was a fantastic right hand. We'll look over the best of it again in a moment or two. Down to Steve Batts first.
Thanks very much indeed, Paul. Daniel, I've never seen you look so relieved. In fact, I don't think I've ever seen any fighter look so relieved at getting a win as you were at the end of that contest.
It's been a very rough ride, you know, and I'm glad to be back.
And it showed, Daniel. How did you feel when you got in the ring? Was your head clear or were you having flashbacks? How did you feel?
It was a little thoughts going through my head, but, you know, I listened to Shane, what he told me, and I just stuck to instructions, and it's all happened, man. It's great.
You mentioned it, then, let's not mince our words. It's been a hard 6 months or 7 months for you, and I know you're strong mentally and you avoid an awful lot of some of the things people say, but it has been a really tough time. It must be fantastic to have got back in there and got the win this evening.
It is, you know. My sister just qualified for the Olympics.
I know, what a night for the Dubois!
And I'm glad I'm back. Yeah, picked up a belt as well.
Shane, I can tell you, I know you haven't worked with him for years, but he never smiles like that. You've delivered a great smile at least. You didn't have him for long enough, but did you see enough in the short time you've had him and the short time the fight lasted to show you that he's heading in the direction you want him to head?
Yeah, he's only 23 years of age. You know, he's young. He's obviously suffered a little loss, but he needs to go back, rebuild. And I think we did that. I think it was a fantastic performance. We didn't have long, but give us 6 months, a year, and you'll see the best of him.
And you told him to get a bit closer, which he did, and he finished the fight quickly. Listen to your instructions. When he first came through your doors, what were your very, very first thoughts, Shane?
How good his legs were, how good his distance control was. You know, he's got fantastic legs, he just needs to use them a little bit more. And speed comes from the ground up. Sometimes he pours his shots out, but the more he uses his feet, the more he punches with his legs, the more speed and the more devastation you're going to see with Daniel Dubois. And I think, give us 6 months, give us a year, he's going to be knocking on the door of the big boys, trust me.
Now, Daniel, even before you finished it, you seemed relaxed. In the first round, you seemed relaxed, and he wasn't here to fall over big Bogdan, was he? Alongside the sense of relief, do you get the feeling now that your career's back on some kind of track?
Yeah, definitely. I want to get back in the mix and, you know, taking things easy with Shane and learning new things in the gym. We're going to get there, man.
Now, I'm going to ask you the inevitable question. What would you like next? I mean, apart from an intensive 5 or 6 months with Shane, who would you like to fight next?
Whoever they bring for me, whoever they bring up, whoever. I'll knock them all down.
Do you, at any point in the next year or 2 years, do you need to fight Joyce in your head? Do you need to fight Joe Joyce in your head?
I want to clear that up. I want to have the rerun again, and I need to set it right. And, you know, I just need to keep listening to what Shane tells me and just keep beating the best I can be.
And Shane, you obviously watched the Joe Joyce fight. I'm assuming you watched it. If it wasn't live, you watched it at another time. When you saw Daniel Dubois that night, did you have any thoughts? I mean, it wasn't working with you at that point. You know, you had no contact with him. What went through your head, if you can cast your mind back to late November?
I know how good Joe Joyce is. I know how effective he is. You know, he's a big 18.5 stone strong guy. He can punch. He's got a fantastic work rate. So personally, I think he needed 1 or 2 more tests. But look, it is what it is. He's going to have to go back and. But technically, Dan just needs to improve. He just needs to work on Daniel Dubois, make sure he's as good as he can be from a physical and athletic and boxing standpoint. And once we get those fundamentals locked in, I believe he can beat all of these boys. I'm telling you, I've never felt power like it on the pads. And he's literally, we just need to chip away, make sure he gets there technically, and he's going to be an absolute nightmare.
He certainly is a nightmare. Now, before I let you go, Daniel, you mentioned there your sister Caroline. You think you've had a hard 6 months. How's her year been? It's been the most frustrating 12 months for any boxer ever. She must be so relieved. Have you spoken to her?
This is just the start as well, you know. She's got a long road. She's now qualified for the Olympics, so she's got to go for gold.
A good night for the Dubois family. Daniel, good to have you back. Shane, great to talk to you again. Back to you, Paulie.
Thank you, Steve. And they are so very, very close. Here he comes, folks. If Caroline goes to the Olympic Games, hopefully takes a medal home from it, what a prospect it would be to put Daniel Dubois on the same card with his sister as a professional. That would be really something, wouldn't it? Again, it was started tonight by talking about the Dubois dream. That is a part of it because they are that close and they have come up together. Caroline working with Daniel on the way up. They're going all the way to the top together if they can make it happen. But more immediately, we spoke, David, to you about pre-Joyce. Look again at what we saw tonight, Dubois, in this fight. Tell us what stylistic nuances, differences you saw here tonight. Shane McGuinn has just been talking about that.
To be fair, look like the same old Dubois to me, you know, beautiful jab, stood his ground.
I want to ask you to look specifically at there at the start of the second round.
Yeah.
A little injection of speed.
Yeah.
That's the difference, isn't it?
He did start that round very fast. Put the pressure on. Of course, Bogdan couldn't deal with it. Hit him clean right on the button. And as you can see right there, got him out of there. I can see Bogdan's corner telling him to get up. He clearly couldn't, so Dubois clearly hurt him.
Absolutely. Marcus McDonald, who knows it inside out, he wasn't having any of it, certainly. It's a wonderful, wonderful moment for him. But to go back to that point about the speed, the injection of that element into his game, was it there? Was it being used before, in your view?
Honestly, if you ask my honest opinion, it looked like the same Dubois. Which is a good Dubois. He's a good fighter, you already know. You know, he wouldn't be where he is now if he was no good. Seems to be giving a lot of people problems. You can see him before the Joyce fight. He knocked everybody out apart from one person, so he's clearly doing something right. I think they're doing the same thing they were doing before though, which is, you know, trying to rush him out and Shane and say give him 6 months and 12 months, he'll be back up there with the big boys. I mean, the boy's 23 years of age, doesn't really need to rush. He can box out for one title at the age 25 and, you know, still be good. There's no rush, you just gotta do it correctly rather than fast.
Thank you for that. Carl, hold on to your thoughts for just a moment or two, please. It's a very crowded area. We've got so many, even in Britain, we've got so many top liners reaching up to grab the big titles in the heavyweight division. And Frank Warren, of course, now very much back in the middle of it all. Steve, you're with Frank now. Let's see what Frank thinks about it.
Yeah, and about 600 Tom Jones fans have made their way north up the M6 to Stoke, so Frank and I can have a conversation and not a screaming match. Frank, relief on Daniel Dubois' face, and I would suggest a little bit of relief with you as well, getting that win.
Yeah, I think, you know, as I said, coming into this fight, he was going to have to answer a lot of questions. A lot of things were said after his defeat in the last fight, the way it ended, and he's come in today, I think, and answered his critics. He showed that, you know, he's back in it again. Not actually back in it, he's the WBA interim champion, so he's got his place back at the top table.
And he did look relaxed even before the final punch dropped, Big Bogdan. He did look relaxed. He looked calm in there.
I mean, I think he did, you know, he showed in his performance. It was no one's done that to him in a couple of rounds, have they? You know, and that was an extremely good win for him, and he done it with great start. And now he's back in it. He's got to keep now improving and working like he will do.
Shane McGuinn, his new coach, talking about 6 months, you know, but obviously I'm assuming he'll be out before the end of the year.
He'll be out before 6 months. Of course, he's got to get busy. That's the name of the game.
Now, the list of fighters that he could fight going forward, I mean, there's a good list of heavyweights out there that might give him the